So these are notes 4, which is includes examples of all of your homework problems. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the slope-intercept form. And this is our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So on most of these equations, we need to make sure that our final answer is in that y equals mx plus b format. And some things to remember is that the m, sorry, let me get back to the pen. The m is the slope, and the b is the y-intercept. So as we look at number 1, we are given a slope and we are given a y-intercept. And we just need to make sure it looks like this form. So we'll always have a y equals, and then next comes the number that represents our slope, -6. Then we'll always have the x. And then the y-intercept is the b, so we've got plus 7/5. And that's what we're expecting for number 1. On number 2, we are still expecting the y equals mx plus b format, but we don't give you the slope. We give you the points, so you need to find the slope by doing rise over run. So you find the farthest left point, which is right here, and I'm going to move to this point since it's right there on the corner of a box. So to get from this point to this point, I go up 1 and to the right 1. So my slope is +1 over +1, which when we go to write it in this form, we really don't want a fraction. So 1/1 is the same as 1. And then to find the b is, let me scroll down here a little bit. The b, or the y-intercept, is always where the graph crosses the y-axis. And our y-axis is right here. And so where this graph crosses the y-axis is right here. And another way I know is because a y-intercept always has the ordered pair 0 something. So my ordered pair is 0, -4. And the b is always that y value. So when I write my equation, it will be y equals, my slope was 1, which I can put in as 1x or just x, and then my b was negative or -4. Number 3 is just like number 2. We're given points, so we have to find the slope. So I'm going to start with my very left point, and then I'm going to go to this point. So to move from this point to this point, I have to go down 1, 2, 3. So that's a -3 to the right 1. So my slope is -3/1. And then when I go to write it in my y equals mx plus b format, I want it to be just -3 and not a fraction. And then the b, the y-intercept, again, is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And this is the y-axis. And again, I know that this is the y-intercept because I have 0 something. So my y-intercept is 0, 6. And again, the y value of the y-intercept is the b. So now I have my two numbers. I'm going to write my equation as y equals negative 3x plus 6. On number 4, we are actually given the slope and we are given the y-intercept. So we can just take those two pieces of information and write in the y equals mx plus b format. And remember that the y value of the y-intercept is the b. So this equation will look like y equals 8 is my slope, so 8x minus 5. On number 5, we're still using the y equals mx plus b format. We are given the slope, but we're not given the y-intercept. We're given a point, but it is not the y-intercept. So we're going to use what's called the point slope formula, which is this. And so we will be replacing the y1, the x1, and the m. And so this is my x1, this is my y1. So now as I write this equation, y minus, my y1 is 2, equals, and then my m is 6, x minus, and my x1 is 3. So I have replaced or substituted in for the y1, the m, and the x1. And now I need to get it into the y equals mx plus b format. So my next line of work is going to be y minus 2 equals, and then I need to do the distributive property. So 6 times x gives me 6x. 6 times negative 3 gives me negative 18. And then I want to get y all by itself. So I need to get rid of the minus 2 by doing plus 2 on both sides of the equal sign. Those cancel. These I'm going to add together. So then on my equation line, I will have y equals 6x, and then my negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16. And negative, or I'm sorry, not negative, but number 6 is just like number 5. So I'm going to use my formula here. Y minus, and my x1 is here, y1 is here. So y minus 9 equals, and then my slope is negative 7. And then x minus, and my x1 is 8. So then my next line of work, y minus 9 equals, and I have to do my distributing. So negative 7 times x, negative 7x. Negative 7 times negative 8 is plus 56. And then I need the y by itself. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides of the equal sign. So my equation will be y equals negative 7x. and I need to add together my 56 and 9 to get plus 65. Number 7 again is the same kind of problem. I've got x1, y1. So y minus, and my y1 is 8, equals, my slope is 1 times x minus, and my x1 is 15. So then I'm ready to begin trying to solve for y. So y minus 8 equals, and then I do my distributing. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times negative 15, negative 15. And then I need the y to be completely by itself, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides of the equal sign. So then my equation y equals, and you can put 1x or x, and then I need to do my negative 15 plus 8, which would give me negative 7. On number 8, you're given the y-intercept and you're given the slope. So we are going to still use our y equals mx plus b format. So we're going to have y equals, our slope was 0, so 0x, and then our b was 5, so plus 5. And in Math Excel and on your paper, generally we would really like to see y equals 5 as the final answer. And just to give you a little reminder, when we have y equals, that ends up being a horizontal line. Number 9 and 10 are our most involved because you are given 2 points, but we still want the y equals mx plus b format. So this would be my x1, y1, x2, y2. And first thing we have to do is find the slope. So m equals, my y2 is negative 4 minus y1 is 5 over x2 is 2 minus x1 is negative 1. So remember, we have 2 minus a negative 1. And then negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. And this becomes 2 plus 1. So now that becomes negative 9 over positive 3, which reduces to negative 3. So our slope is negative 3. So then we come down and use our point slope formula. And we're going to have y minus, now I'm going to come back up here and use my y1, which is 5, equals, and then I'm going to use my slope, which is negative 3, x minus, and my x1 was negative 1. So I have to put minus negative 1. So before I do any distributing, I want to clean this up a little bit. So I'll still have y minus 5 equals negative 3 parenthesis, but now this inside I'm going to rewrite as x plus 1. That'll be a lot less confusing when I go to do my distributing. So then y minus 5 equals, and then I have my distributing. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 1, negative 3. I still have not solved completely for y. I have to add 5 to both sides of the equal sign. So plus 5, plus 5. These cancel. I end up with y equals negative 3x And then I have negative 3 plus 5, so that gives me plus 2. Okay, number 10 is just like number 9. I have x1, y1, x2, y2. And again, I must find the slope first. So m equals, my y2 is negative 6 minus my y1 is 6 over x2 is 2 minus x1 is 1. So negative 6 minus 6, use your calculator if you need to, negative 12 over, and then I've got 2 minus 1 is 1. And so I reduce that or simplify that to negative 12. So now I'm ready for, oh, this is the wrong formula. So let's mark through that. This one should be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So now I have y minus, and my y1 was 6, equals, so that was my, and then my slope is negative 12. X minus, my x1 was 1. I'm ready for distributing. So y minus 6 equals negative 12 times x is negative 12x. Negative 12 times negative 1 is positive 12. Then I'm ready to solve for y. So plus 6 on both sides of the equal sign. And so now my equation is y equals negative 12x. And I have to add my 12 and 6 to get plus 18.